So we're in the spirit of doing cars right now and stuff. So this is another car that I'm going to be doing a quote unquote like a review on. So this is a 1968 Plymouth GTX 440 mag. It's got a 4-speed manual, and this is basically the intro. So look at all the shit on my hands. It's actually not that bad, but yeah, so I'm going to be doing like a quick review of this car. It will not be started purely for the fact that I'm actually putting it back together right now, and I'm working on the motor and just getting everything back together. It hasn't been running actually since the mid 70s. And yeah, so we're gonna do a quick flip around and 3, 2, 1. All right, so this is actually the interior here, and I want you guys to keep in mind something. This was stored away in the like mid 70s, and the interior on it's actually pretty perfect. So as you can see, it's actually got like a high amount of miles. It's at 83,000. But when you take a look at this interior and stuff, it's just clean. Like you look at the back seat, you know, it's got a little bit of dirt on it and stuff because it's been sitting. But overall, it's really clean. The headliner's even like really well intact. Steering wheel, like it's got the grip on it, you know, still. The one thing is though, and I like did take a look at this, is I got a towel laying down on this, but the driver's seat does need to be taken apart once again. But when you take a look at this car and stuff, it's in great condition. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and close this door here. But I want you guys just to take a look and appreciate, like, the paint on it is still really good and intact. So we're gonna walk around a little bit around the car. So the rims, I know I may be getting a little bit of trash for them. They do look a little rough right now. Basically, those are polished aluminum rims. They are a little bit small, but the great thing about it is though, and let's see if I can get it down low enough. You see the meat underneath these tires. Also, let's see, we're gonna do a little bit of a lay down here. We got this fuel tank back in because the original one actually rotted out. So there is that as well. The chrome bumper needs to be redone as well. You know, it's been sitting. But you look at the quality of this car right now and it's spot on. You know, everything's still intact. Everything is basically original and stock on this car. All the like aftermarket stuff was taken off before it was put into storage, and it's just an absolute beauty. So what we're gonna do right now is we're actually gonna go ahead and pop the hood and take a look at what's inside. So let's see if I can do this with one hand. All right, there we go. That's a heavy hood. Okay, so as you can see right now, the motor is taken apart, and I did say stock as far as like the body and everything else goes. Like if you take a look at this fender here and stuff, basically it does look a little rough. It's got, you know, rust on it and everything else, but we're not going to be painting it purely for the fact that we want to try and keep the paint as like 100% as possible. So I'm gonna actually start moving some of the stuff out so you guys can see the inside of the motor. Let's see, here we go. This, by the way, is a flex fan. So basically the faster it goes, the more it straightens out. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm just gonna lay it here on this chair. All right, yep, Summit Racing, sponsored, definitely not sponsored. I wish I was sponsored by Summit because then I wouldn't have to pay for all of their parts. We're just gonna lay that there on top of the truck. All right, so seeing that actually everything's apart, we can kind of go through like a little bit of like a detailed, you know, quote unquote, like how motors work, so on and so forth. So these are actually for the inside of the motor there, which I'm gonna lay these on the side because they still need to be glued on. So just like taking a look at everything that's right here, this here is a valley pan. So when you take this valley pan off, oh, quick side note. Okay, so for a motor, as you guys may have seen in the previous video with the truck, this here is a valley pan. On top of the valley pan goes an intake manifold. From an intake manifold, it then goes into the carburetor and then like the air filter. However, you know, in the truck it had the blower, so that's actually like an added extra step, but we're trying to keep this one original because it's a 440 mag and everything else on it stock. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pull this valley pan real quick and show you guys what's inside. So it may not look, you know, all pretty and stuff as some people think it should. Actually, let's find a nicer place to lay this down. We're gonna lay it down right here. We want to be careful because we don't want to let too much moisture in. So what we're taking a look at right here is, if you take a look, and if you actually know anything about cars, you'll understand what this is. So you look, oh, there's the water pump. Also, definitely looks a lot better than the truck because this is all billet. It's so clean. But anyways, so in this tunnel right here is actually a, oh, what's the actual term? It's a camshaft. Yep. A little bit of a brain fart moment. It's all right though. Okay, so basically you have the cam in here, and off of the cam you have these lifters. Let's see if I could take a look. All right, so this one right here is, if you take a look at it, it's right there on the lobe. So when the cam turns over, the lobes on the cam push up the lifters. When the lifters are lifted up, like this one right here, you'll see that it goes then to this push rod. From the push rod, it then goes into the rocker. The rocker open and closes the valves. So if you take a look, because these are actually original rockers and stuff, so these aren't roller rockers, they're just standard rockers. On a roller rocker, in this little spot right here, rather than it just being solid, it'll actually have a bearing that spins, and it makes it more efficient effectively. I was going to switch the rockers over to roller rockers, but it's just a lot of added extra money that I don't really have right now in order to do it. You'll also may ask, like, oh, what's all this yellow stuff in here? So this is actually just oil, because what I ended up having to do is I actually drained the entire oil pan purely for the fact it's been sitting for such a long time. I wanted to clean everything out, and I went ahead and poured more oil just to make sure everything was right. So we've covered the inside there of the motor, we've covered the rockers. This, because they stand out, once again, these are just the headers right here. They're definitely rusted. You got, if you guys don't know what this, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed, because every car has it basically except the electric ones. These is a distributor, so basically you have your main distributor. Inside you have rotors and points. These are your spark plug wires that then go to each individual spark plug. You can see, let's see, yeah, you can see the little white spark plug that's like right about there. Right now the spark plug wires aren't actually connected onto it, purely for the fact that everything's kind of just been sitting. And if you take a look, so this is a great way to actually take a look at the car, especially for the front of the motor, purely for the fact that there's no radiator and there's no fan, no nothing. So this here is our alternator. Basically it keeps the battery charged. That was covered in the previous video. If you actually take a look right here though, because this is a serpentine belt system. A serpentine belt system means that only one belt goes to all the pulleys, and so one belt turns everything, rather than on the truck. We'll actually hop over real quick. So if you take a look, there's actually multiple belts. You have 3 there. There should be a 4th one, but right now it's off because of the air conditioning. But we'll hop back over here. So basically, this torque bar is actually able to tighten and loosen the belt, which is one of the best things ever, purely for the fact that you can, if it's loose, you can do it. You can tighten it, all you need to do. So everything that you see here, that shiny, is billet aluminum. So it's basically, it's just an aluminum that like has to actually be cut down, or there is a cast billet. It's just not as nice. So if you take a look here, you got alternator, you got the bracket, you got the torque bar, you have, this is your water pump pulley, which is in line with a cam, as you can see right there. So basically this is where the fan is put on. Right now I'm waiting purely for the fact that I need a spacer and a bolt, or a set of bolts, in order to make sure that the fan doesn't hit this crank pulley. This crank pulley down here then goes into this harmonic balancer, which let's see if I can get you guys down there. All right, yeah, so this is a harmonic balancer, and this blue plate, which you're gonna see mostly on motors and stuff. So inside of that, that's your like timing chain. So basically you have gears in there. You have one for your crank and you have one for your cam. All right, so we're moving down this way. So this is, yeah, more, once again, just like water pump housing stuff. This is your thermostat. It's not a big deal. Eventually connects to the radiator. This here, that's in the plastic still because I wanted to keep it kind of nice. That is my oil filter. And if you look down here, we're kind of just bouncing around all over the place, aren't we? So basically this, let's see, I'm going to point at it so you guys can see it. That one right there. So that's basically part of your fuel system. So this is actually taken apart right now because I don't have the carburetor or the intake in. This is your gas filter. So from there, you know, it just filters gas, make sure that it's clean before going into the motor. Perfect. All right. So yeah, we're kind of just bouncing around all over the place, aren't we? So, you know, that's just a horn, kind of just doing its own thing. So back there is our master cylinder. I'm actually going to be taking that plate off because it is kind of rusty and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off. I'm going to sand it down. I'm going to repaint it. And one of the nice things actually about like older cars like this is the wiring is so easy. The wiring in the truck is like a genuine pain. I had an issue with my battery in the alternator, which I'm still trying to fix now. But basically the aftermarket alarm system that I put on the truck was like slowly draining the battery. And I had to take apart the entire alarm system in order to make sure that the battery like wasn't being pulled on by the alarm system. And the alarm system meaning I have to pull apart the entire dash and like unconnect everything that's for the alarm system. It was the biggest pain. And it's in a confined space because why make it easy? You know, it's just never that easy. But everything down here, so basically like this was repainted purely for the fact that just to clean it up. That's not really affecting the original paint. So in this gap right here, like I said, you're gonna have your fan here, you're gonna have your radiator here, you got your bash bar, and you just got the front of the car. That's really about it and stuff as far as like taking a look at the car and stuff. It's pretty simple, it's clean, and I'm slowly putting it back together. I'd love to get this thing running real soon. And I'd show you guys the underneath of the car, but right now it's sitting a little low because the air shocks aren't filled up. And I am not crawling on the floor because I am tired and I'm dealing with finals and trying to raise grades and all that fun stuff. But we're just gonna finish off the rest of the video just taking a look at the back of the car. It's pretty, it's clean, and that's it, folks. All right, have a good day.